Hello, and welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast. I am a woman on a mission, and lately that mission has been to help you get going with your Zettelkasten, to get it out of your head and onto the work table beside you, where you can hold your thoughts in your hands and work happily with your Zettelkasten. Well, I'm back to a question that's been asked more than once and by more than one person, which is a question about over-indexing. Sometimes indexing can get to the point where people are saying, oh, it's starting to feel like a chore. Am I doing too many indexes? In general, my answer is probably not too many index entries per card, but maybe the problem is what you're choosing to go onto a main card, and that may be the most likely problem. So we have a couple of examples of that. And then the third case would be if it really is getting out of hand, maybe setting some limits. Well, let's get specific, because I think maybe that's why this keeps coming up, is that I've talked about it in general sense, and I haven't actually shown you any specific cases. Well, I'm going to show you a specific case of when I leave information behind on a bib card and don't make main cards for it. I'm going to draw on a card that I made some time ago that I've actually shown you from this book, Carmen Simone Made You Look. And we're going to show you an example of where I left factual information behind on the card and only brought the idea forward into my main card. So let's take a look so we can talk through it. And then I'll also talk through some other issues, two other issues that can help you so that you don't end up with indexing being a chore. Indexing should be a delight. So let's take a look. Okay, now here's the bib card that I want to go over with you. And I have logged here on my bib card the main card that I made from it. And so I can actually pull the main card. It's right here. And this is a spot where Carmen Simone is talking about semantic priming, where you are setting up your reader to be ready and to be expectant for information. And you do this in advance of information that you especially want them to remember. I made a note about it for fiction writing because it occurred to me that that's a way that you can do that for your audience. If you want them to notice your detective finding a clue in the garden, for example, you can first make it very clear that the detective is in the garden. Make some notes about the pleasant evening and walking down the gravel path or whatever. And then you can also clue your audience in with something shiny caught his eye. Well, with those two things, you know where he is and you know what to look at. You know you're going to pay attention to the next thing that the detective picks up because you know it's going to be an important clue in the mystery. You've given him some semantic priming. So I looked for where was I going to place this card into my Zettelkasten, and I found a good parent for it. The parent card was this one by Zettelkasten. I have a lot of cards by him in this general area. This is an older card, I know, because it's a 3x5 and it's missing my reflection. And the tagline is just sort of somewhere. It's not across the top like my usual ones are. And in this card, Zettelkasten is talking about making connections as well. He's talking about when you are comparing two sets of information, you're going to want to examine it in terms of what connects the two, what conditions and what coordinates, what's different. So you have a plan for how you're reflecting against the information. So this card found a home there, but it's the only card that I made from this entire bib card. And what did I leave behind? I left behind two facts. That semantic conditioning works because we store knowledge in our brains via association. And another fact, when you make a concept easy to understand, your audience has more resources available to allocate elsewhere. Those are both facts. Now, if I had taken these facts and made them into main cards, I would have had 3 times as much work for my job of indexing. Facts are best left on the bib card itself. The only exception that I would say to that is if you're like on a debating team or you're specifically studying for an exam where those facts are going to have to come up, maybe you're a medical student and you need to be able to have all of those body parts or nerves or blood vessels or what, and you need to be able to recite them, well, that's a great place to put that asterisk on your card and then simply put your facts that you need to have at your disposal. Just copy them to the back side of your card. And then in that way, you've got them close at hand because you're going to want to study them together. And you know there's something there because you've put the asterisk, but you still have only got one card that you're actually indexing. We only want to bring conversations into our Zettelkasten. Ideas make for conversations. We want to get the flow of ideas going, and that means that we really need to have ideas and not just facts. Then again, we may not necessarily even want all of the ideas. Why might we not want an idea? Nicholas Gatien helps us with that. We might not be interested in bringing even an idea onto a main card if it's not something that's new or if it doesn't contribute to the conversation. I would take applicability to mean, does it contribute to a conversation that's going on in my Zettelkasten? And novelty would be, is it something new to me or something that I've known for a very long time? If it's something that I've known for a very long time, I don't want to bother making a main card of it. I'll simply observe it if it's something that I've known for a long time, or if it's not very interesting and it's not new, well, forget it. Nicholas uses another type of thing, which is an XREF, and that's wherever you make an entry into your index for something that lies outside of your Zettelkasten. I don't tend to do that. Very often, if you were going to do that, instead of putting a main card number, you might put a bib card number, a bib card reference. That's not in my practice. So for me, I would just say if it is sufficiently interesting that I want to hang on to it, I'll go ahead and make a main card for it. Now, there's one other possibility. If you are finding that you're just, even one card, you're limiting it to the great ideas, to the ideas that advance a conversation, you're leaving the facts behind on the bib card, and it's still taking you too long to do one card, well, maybe then it's time to set some limits. I know one correspondent was telling me that he will sometimes make up to 7 key term references and find multiple alternate parents, such that it was taking him a solid hour to index one card. Okay, now I think you are over indexing. So if that's you, then you probably will want to put some kind of a limit. Maybe limit yourself to 3 terms and maybe only 1 alternate parent. Maybe set yourself a timer. Even using your full tag line for every index entry, it shouldn't take more than 15 minutes to index a card. And if it is, then let's think about it a little bit, make a note in the comments about your circumstances, and maybe we can diagnose a little bit more. So I hope that helps. And if for any reason it doesn't, please be sure to put some notes in the comments and I'll take another stab at it. Indexing should be the most energizing part of your day. I actually save it for the evening because by the evening I'm getting droopy. When I get those cards out and I get an exciting conversation going between 2 cards, that perks me up and keeps me interested. To me, it's exhilarating and it's energizing because of the exciting connections. So if you're not getting exciting connections, then maybe you shouldn't have selected that idea for a main card at all, if it's not even exciting to you. So let me know if you have any further questions on that, and I will take another stab at it. Thank you. Bye-bye.